incredible to consider that last statistic that Mary spoke of. Was it 97% of the trend for Gen Zs? So that indicates in a capitalistic environment the trend of where things are headed right now. And we have the opportunity right now with partners like Wells Fargo to lead the way globally. I think we might be catching up a little bit in terms of Europe, but we certainly, I think with enough people like here today, with the team that's coming together, we have a tremendous opportunity to really pave the way. Thank you so much, everyone, for making the effort to be here today. Just out of curiosity, who here came from another country? Did anyone? Is it you? Is it a trick question? How many came from a different state? Okay. This is tremendous. Thank you all again.
Oh, we have a big carbon footprint, though. We have to work on that.
I appreciate everyone coming out for the trip. Again, let's give a warm round of applause for Wells Fargo. For hosting what I imagine will be the first of many events to come. I'm enjoying seeing some new faces here today, and it's always amazing to see some familiar ones here as well. For those of you who don't know, my name is Brian Ingram, and I'm the co-founder and executive of Green.org. We are a group of ambitious free thinkers with expertise in every conceivable discipline, but are bound to a commitment to further human progress on the planet at a very rapid pace, as Mary described, for such a time as this. Our mandate is to solve the world's most pressing problems today by bringing new innovation and technologies to market with sound business principles and models that recognize and honor the free market approach, building a more resilient infrastructure and leveraging culture to catapult the world into a new era of prosperity, connectivity, innovation, sustainability, health, and peace. It sounds like a lot, and we acknowledge that it is. But our vision for the world actually rests on a single, very simple idea. And that is something that was established by our forefathers as a core belief in guiding our credo that is woven into the fabric of our great nation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, and that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Until the basic needs of every citizen on the planet are met, the promise of democracy will remain unfulfilled. Green.org believes every person on the planet has a right to the ideal of liberty. For self-sovereignty to work, there are some non-negotiables that need to be in place. At Green.org, we are as industrious as they come, and we believe that competition drives innovation. That's important. Competition drives innovation. However, we're firm that the game of life cannot be rigged. There must be a baseline that no one slips below. And we are at a point now with innovation and sound business principles to make this a reality. Right now, not everyone can actualize their liberty. The world over, there are some structural barriers invested in maintaining an existing status quo that is unsustainable. And this is really where rubber meets the road for Green.org. And we're stepping in to make some sweeping changes. We believe that each person on the planet deserves the 5 following things so that we can claim our own self-sovereignty and our right to life, to be able to pursue life, liberty, and happiness. These 5 pillars guide how Green.org sees the world and are at the core of every business decision that we make. We believe in strong and sound financial models that support these pillars. And we speak to a few of these on the globe that used to be behind me. The first, and in my mind, one of the most critical and important, is water. All that a truly free person can produce does not begin with an idea or a desire. It starts with human energy, human potential. This system grinds to a halt without water. Without it, there are no dreams to follow, no calculations to make, no fuel for the challenges that we endure to become fulfilled. There simply is no life. Withholding an ingredient that is elemental for human beings to function is not only tragic, it's immoral. Water is sacred. It's our seed of life. Green.org believes that water must be pure and freely available for all. Technology exists now to make this a reality so that everyone on the planet can get access to clean water in our lifetime. Imagine being able to say that our generation, our lifetime, we saw an opportunity to employ technologies, invest in technologies so that everyone has access to water. Our Constitution was written to preserve the rights of humans, to preserve the rights of freedom, and yet we still have people that can't drink water. The second tenet is shelter. Humans are spirited adventurers. In order to conquer our dreams, we need to step out the front door refreshed and have a place to return where we are recuperated, we reflect, and we get ready for our next efforts of the day. What if there's no home to come back to? I just moved from Los Angeles to New York. There are currently 18,000 people living in Skid Row right now. We each deserve a place insulated from the elements and secure from danger. One that's sanitary and has all the essentials for us to thrive. Green.org believes everyone must have access to shelter. The third tenet is medical care. These all align with what Mary was talking about earlier. Medical care, the human biological machine. For all of our amazing feats, we are very fragile. We didn't inherit our genes that we chose. We're talking about the cures to cancer. Maybe in our lifetime we're going to see some incredible innovations that extend the life up to 150 years. But we have to make sure that there's a baseline for everyone. Our bodies naturally deteriorate. And the process is sped up now by pollutants in our environment. Or the lack of nutritional food, because that's all that's available. An advanced society is not built on needless suffering, nor is it supported by systems that blindly profit from needless suffering. Self-sovereignty cannot be achieved under the crushing weight of medical debt, routine procedures, or bankruptcy resulting from taking care of the needs of children, our parents, or ourselves. Green.org believes that healthcare should be accessible for everyone. With our primary biological and physical needs taken care of, there are two remaining non-negotiable pillars. Number 4 is energy. What we can accomplish with our human energy is defined by our access to planetary energy. We need planetary energy to power our homes, cook our food, and move our vehicles. We need the power to bring the next big idea to life. We need to see in the dark with the vision that leads us forward. We've been making decisions on how to spend our human energy based on the premise that planetary energy is a finite source. We've been disconnected from its source, causing instability and undermining our self-sufficiency and liberty. We've been fighting for it globally, and it's the leading cause right now in many aspects of war. What does this mean if we bring to light the reality of renewable, unlimited energy? There are these new toroidal systems that are similar to the energy source on the sun. Tremendous innovation is just at our fingertips right now. And in our lifetime, I believe that we will be able to flip on some switches that take some of these issues in the past completely off the table. Here's an interesting statistic. The sun blankets the earth with enough photons every hour to meet the entire energies the world needs for 1 year. I'm going to say that again so it really sinks in. The sun blankets the earth with enough photons every hour to meet the entire energy needs of the world for 1 year. How can we harness this? And finally is the internet. With the rate of human knowledge doubling every year, we cannot be free to pursue life, liberty, if we are unaware of the closed system of the greatest educational resource in our history. The way that the ISPs have been structured, this is something that Stephen's going to talk about, the Chief Innovation Officer from Sacramento Municipality Utility District, who flew out to join us today. We have opportunities again through the Department of Energy, that there's something that was started with previous administrations to shift and really bring the ISPs out of the pipeline and allow for the smart city infrastructure to come in behind it. Again, these technologies and these innovations are at our fingertips. Willfully withholding access to the whole human knowledge not only actively disempowers, it slows our progress. If there's communication, there's a discussion, a reason to collaborate. In fact, paradoxically, self-sovereignty requires more than just the self. It's only possible when we all come together. The internet is the very best tool that we have for this purpose. Green.org believes in unrestricted access to the internet for all its global citizens on the planet. And we acknowledge that these are massive ambitions. Some would say that these are insurmountable. But I'm confident that I'm standing in front of a group of people who see these challenges as opportunities. And I'm 100% certain that with the innovative minds, the entrepreneurs and the creative doers in this room, there's a way forward where everyone wins, balanced by the business models that create jobs and secures our position as a global market leader in innovation and preserves the freedom of this great country for generations to come. The moral mission can fill our hearts. The work can build new business. The outcomes can make our children's children be grateful for our courage. At green.org, we are looking for collaborators who want to come on this journey with us. Our hope is to find those united by the same spirit who are not bound and tied by politics. There's room on this ship for everyone who has a much broader vision. And we want people to come on board and look up at the night sky and feel awe and feel the potential. Travelers who can sail into an uncertain future, guided by a pole star, and our commitment to that course, which is completely unwavering in its loyalty to preserve liberty, democracy, and knowing that there's no place that they'd rather be. We have a few of those people here today. Charlie Engel stepped out. Someone can grab him. Charlie's an incredible human, and I don't want to steal some of his thunder, but one of the principles that we see with green.org is really bringing together cultural creatives, like-minded individuals, and letting them tell their stories like Charlie's going to do in a bit. Part of that process with green.org, aligned with these tenets, is that we have specific innovation and technology that have sound business models that support the free enterprise market model. And then we can help to tell those stories by people like Charlie. People like Slade, who's a former Major League New York Yankee, who's joined us. People like Lauren and Stephanie from Ripple Effect, who are amazing storytellers to be able to communicate a lot of these pressing issues that the world's facing today. We've built an incredible alliance, and we've actually built a piece of technology specifically with this globe that tells our story. That as you move around this globe, you'll be able to see specifically where your contributions and our partnerships will be able to contribute. So imagine corporate social responsibility, but imagine that being passed to the individual. So think of this as individual social responsibility. We're partnering right now with different brands so that we can, on the blockchain, show it exactly where, for example, if Stephanie made a purchase at Lowe's, there will be a code given to her where she will be able to see exactly on the blockchain where, in fact, her specific contribution as an individual is being made. So that example said 10 bricks were planted or were laid in partnership with Lowe's. Slade's going to speak about a project in partnership with an organization called Plastic Bank. Plastic Bank is something, as many of you already are aware of, this idea of the circular economy. So taking things like plastic, weaving it in, creating jobs in a place like the Dominican Republic, and then taking that plastic and then reselling it to specific partners and specific brands. So imagine if Nike, for example, started purchasing that plastic and making clothing. As an individual, you could make a purchase of a Nike jersey and see specifically on the blockchain, on green.org, exactly where your contribution is being made. For the first time ever, you'll be able to track your contribution through your capital contributions at the store and your purchases on the blockchain and be able to measure your impact over time as a consumer. We have projects as well in Kosovo in partnership with a tremendous family that are here today, Stone Castle Winery. Bruce Stewart, who's an executive director for the winery, is here to speak about initiatives and specific technologies and partnerships with the former president of Kosovo, the only female president from Kosovo. We're partnering with her foundation so that, again, you can see specifically and directly how your impact is having a measurable result. And lastly, the Philippines. We have projects in the Philippines currently with new innovative water technology, turbine technology, that aligns with the universal laws of nature that allow this technology to be harnessed so that as the water flows through, turbines and the pressure create energy that can be fed back into the grid. These solutions exist. It's just a matter of tapping into these technologies, integrating them, and allowing individuals to participate through their purchases. And that's what the essence of green.org is to amplify that message. So I know that Charlie keeps coming in and out, but I wanted to turn it over to Charlie now because he's going to talk a little bit about something that he's participating in. He's a co-founder of green.org.
Yes.
You get a t-shirt.
The t-shirt to prove it.
Yeah, and a coffee. And Charlie, I don't want to steal his thunder. I think it's best that he just comes up and talks about his life experience and the path that it's taken, because it is everything of that someone could dream of writing a book about. You do have a book, so there you go.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was the plug.
Thanks.
So if you guys wouldn't mind welcoming Charlie now, and he can dive into 5.8 specifically, this adventure series that he's embarking upon right now, going from the lowest point on the planet to the highest point. And he's probably the only person in the world that could do something like that. So without further ado, Charlie, come on up.